Happy New Year's! So 2013 is about to come in the door, and we thought instead of doing a recap of all the things that happened this year, actually Bryan did a really nice blog on that. So if you guys want to go take a look at his blog, I'll put a link in the body of this video. He does a recap of our whole year, which I thought was kind of cool.
It was nuts.
Yeah, it was a lot going on. But every year we tend to do a video on the top LGBT events that happen in the past year, and this year we decided there's so much going on and it's been in the news so much that we really wanted to do a video on our top 5 best and worst people of 2012.
Yes, so an academy of our peers convened and decided on the top 5 best and top 5 worst people of 2012 for gay rights.
And we were going to be kind of goofy and give them awards, but I think we're just going to give you our list because we got an award this year for a Right to Love an American Family, which we're super proud of. And so that's why this little guy is sitting here. So we're actually going to give kind of awards to these people. And let's go ahead and we'll...
So what are we beginning with, the best or the worst?
No, we're going to take turns.
Okay.
I'm going to do the 5 worst because I like to bitch about people that make me mad. And Bryan, of course, he's the goody two-shoe, so he's going to do the 5
I'm not the goody two-shoe.
Okay, so my number 5 on my list of the 5 worst people of last year is a out lesbian by the name of Lehman. And the reason why she's on my list is because she helped draft the language for DOMA. She was a huge supporter of banning gay marriage for LGBT people all across the country. And she is a Republican. And, you know, the thing that irritates me most about her is she's now fighting for marriage equality. She no longer is getting paid from the other side. She's getting paid from our side to actually, you know, fight DOMA in the courts, which drives me nuts.
Which is funny because I don't recall anywhere in the news her going, wow, I've had a change of heart on the issue.
You know, it really drives me nuts because now that marriage equality is winning, you know, and it's actually moving forward and we're starting to have progress on our rights when it comes to marriage equality, a lot of the people who worked really hard to basically make sure that we did not have equality in our laws are now jumping the other side. And our organizations, our equality organizations, are actually giving these people jobs. And it really irritates me. And she still says she does not apologize for her part in getting DOMA passed, and that really just pisses me off.
And I get to give out the first positive award this year, and in my number 5 slot, the Daddy Award goes to...
Daddy Award?
Well, yeah, they all have to have cute little nicknames, right?
I didn't give mine a cute little nickname.
There's the Oscar and the Telly and all those.
So if the good guys get a Daddy Award, what do mine get? The Poopy Award?
They get a flaming bag of dog poop on their doorstep. Yes.
Okay. So the first Daddy Award goes to?
It actually goes to Lady Gaga and Madonna. And the reason why I'm putting both of them together is because you cannot give an award to one without the other half of the planet sending you hate mail. So, and both of them have used their fame and their concert tours to really help advance gay rights this year, especially in Russia.
I am here to say that the gay community and gay people here and all around the world have the same rights. The same rights to be treated with dignity, with respect, with tolerance, with compassion, with love.
Can't even really believe that you're all here because when they first called me, they were like, we want you to go to Russia, but you know, we might have some problems because of all of the gay propaganda in your show. You have one chance. You have one chance to unite. You have one night to come together for the voice of society, for equality in Moscow, equality in Russia. So stand up for yourself or stand up for your friends. Where's all my gay kids tonight? Tonight, this is my house, Russia. You can be gay in my house.
Okay, so my number 4 on my list is Justice Scalia, who actually is going to have a huge impact on gay rights in the coming year, in 2013, with their decision on Prop 8 and DOMA. And we kind of already know where he stands, which is kind of sad in itself. As a Supreme Court Justice, you're supposed to be above politics, and you're supposed to be ruling on law. And we all know basically what the Constitution says about equality and equal rights when it comes to marriage. So it should be a no-brainer. Scalia has basically been making comments about marriage equality, how he basically talks about murder, and he compares marriage equality to murder, to bestiality. He says if you can ban bestiality, you can ban anal sex among gay men. As we all know, there's no comparison there. I mean, Scalia is nothing but a homophobic bigot. And, we pretty much know what his decision is going to be when it comes to DOMA in Prop 8. And he definitely has earned, with all of his speeches this year, my number 4.
Okay, and in my number 4 slot actually goes to straight athletes.
Figures.
So, he totally ruined my train of thought, you
Sorry.
I'm actually giving this to Brendan Ayanbadejo and to Chris Kluwe. Yeah. For those of you who may not be aware of it, Brendan actually was speaking out for marriage equality in his home state of Maryland. He plays for the Baltimore Ravens. Well, that didn't sit too well with, his state representative, Emmett C. Burns. And Burns actually called up Brendan's boss and said, make your employee stop doing this. One of Brendan's teammates, Chris Kluwe, wrote a scathing response back to Emmett C. Burns, stating that supporting marriage equality is not going to turn everybody into, well, there's a word that I can't use, but a raging bleep monster. But when people like this come out for marriage equality, it gives other gay athletes who might be on their team or on other teams courage to come out, which in turn gives other people courage to come out. And it's sort of a cascade process.
Number 3 on my list is much earned. It's Dan Cathy from Chick-Fil-A, and he is a complete a-hole, and he deserves the number 3 position on my list, not for freedom of speech, not for voicing his opinions, but for being an a-hole and basically sending money to countries that are actually trying to kill gay people. It's not about freedom of speech, people. It's about where the money goes that he's making and what the harm that money is doing. And that was the real issue about Chick-fil-A controversy that got missed. And I'm going to go ahead and let Dan Cathy share some of his wisdom with you, and you can see why he's my number 3 a-hole on my list.
We're inviting God's judgment on our nation when we shake our fist at him and say, we know better than you as to what constitutes a marriage. And I pray God's mercy on our generation that has such a prideful, arrogant attitude.
And getting the Daddy Award in the number 3 slot for positive role models this year is somebody who has been before us before, and that's Zach Walls.
Yeah, cool guy.
Those of you might remember him from standing up before the Iowa City Council and defending his mom's there in front of his city council, and it was a very moving speech that pretty much rocketed him to fame as that video went viral. Well, he's been using that to help create a platform to put pressure on the Boy Scouts to help, if they're not going to change their policies about gay people, to at least put pressure on the people who fund the Boy Scouts to stop giving money to them. And it has worked.
2 position goes to Rebecca Kadaga from Uganda. She is a horrible person, and she's basically used her political position as a way to reinsert the Kill the Gay bills in Uganda. I actually wanted to make a video about her earlier this year, and I got sidetracked, and I'm really glad that the Kill the Gay bill actually died again. But she actually made a promise to her people, her politicians in her country, that she was going to give them an early Christmas present and pass this horrible bill. And I'm going to let her use her own words to let you know why she's number 2 on my list of the most horrible people this year.
Oh, no! Again? No!
Hundreds of religious leaders from across all denominations gathered at the Parliamentary Conference Hall to show their solidarity with the Speaker, Rebecca Kadaga, on the issue of prohibiting homosexuality in Uganda. The issue of banning homosexuality was introduced in 2009 by Ndoro West MP David Bahati, but was shelved after intense pressure was brought to bear on the government by Western countries and wealthy gay activists.
They have asked us to give them a Christmas gift. I want to say the report is in our hands. The order paper is in our hands. The quorum is in our hands. Why can't we do it?
And in my slot for the most inspiring people of 2012, in the number 2 position is Eddie Windsor. And you might be saying, Eddie who? Well, for those of you who may not know, Eddie Windsor is actually suing the federal government to get rid of DOMA. Because when her partner, Thea Spire, passed away a few years ago, she got hit with a humongous estate tax bill that she would not have had to pay had they been a legally married couple. Now, not only is having the chutzpah to be able to sue the federal government enough to earn her the #2 slot in my book, their story is actually really heartwarming and very special. And it's worth knowing that all by itself, and I'll let her tell it in her own words.
I want to tell you why I sued the government, but first some necessary background. My beloved late spouse, Clea Spire, and I lived together and loved each other for more than 4 decades, in sickness and in health, truly in love and joy until death did us part. In 1966, I had emergency coronary bypass surgery. In 2002, Thea was diagnosed with aortic stenosis, which became increasingly severe. And still we remained strong and joyous in our life and love, and still we danced. We became domestic partners the first day it was offered, certificate number 80, and we hoped to be married in the United States. But Thea had a lousy prognosis, 1 year to live max. So we realized we couldn't wait, and we were married May 22nd, 2007 in Toronto by Mr. Justice Harvey Brownstone, who presides in Ontario Family Court, thus ending our 40-year engagement. When my beautiful, sparkling Thea died in February 2009, I was overcome with grief. Within a month, I was hospitalized with a heart attack, characterized as broken heart syndrome. Subsequent in-hospital complications left me very fragile. Grieving and ill, I had to contend with the immediate effects of that cruelly misnamed Defensive Marriage Act known as DOMA. Although New York State considered us married, the federal government did not. So the government taxed what I inherited from Thea as though we were strangers rather than spouses. I paid $363,000 in federal estate tax, known to some of us as the gay tax.
Okay, #1 on my list is, I think, the most evilest person of last year, and I'm going to name the Pope as my #1 evil person of the year. And he truly, he's truly disgusting.
Emperor Palpatine.
He's definitely Emperor Palpatine. You know, he has done nothing but work very hard to take away LGBT equality all around the world. He recently gave my #2 person on my list an award for her work in trying to kill gays in Uganda. He used his Christmas address as a way to attack LGBT people by calling all faiths together to basically say that we are the reason there's no world peace and that we are the reason there is all these problems in the world.
Okay, and my #1 position might be somebody that not everyone will agree with, but for me, I think it's really super important. So for this year in the #1 slot for the daddy, the winner is, drumroll please, President Obama! Yay! Yeah, I know some people are not really all that surprised. But the fact of the matter is that this is the first time ever that a sitting president has come out and supported marriage equality and, by extension, gay rights. Mm-hmm. And that's a really big deal that I think really is a part of what swung the election so much in our favor this year.
But I have to tell you that over the course of several years, as I talk to friends and family and neighbors, when I think about members of my own staff who are in incredibly committed monogamous relationships, same-sex relationships, who are raising kids together. When I think about those soldiers or airmen or Marines or sailors who are out there fighting on my behalf and yet feel constrained, even now that Don't Ask, Don't Tell is gone, because they're not able to commit themselves in a marriage. At a certain point, I've just concluded that for me personally, it is important for me to go ahead and affirm that I think same-sex couples should be able to get married.